Hello and welcome back to the Manga Club, the club where we talk about manga that we've been recently reading and enjoying. Let me know what you've been recently reading and enjoying, and if you've read what I'm about to talk about, let me know in the comments what you thought about it. Just so I'm all caught up on the physical copies of Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm going to do this Manga Club on volumes 16 to 21, which covers essentially from Shibuya until not necessarily mid-culling games, but into the culling games. I think then after that I will do every time one of the Jujutsu Kaisen volumes releases, I will talk about that. Even though I'm reading it online, I've just got to, I'm not going to say where I've just got to in case that is a massive spoiler for you lot, but I'm very nearly caught up on the online chapters, so that's going to be sort of the way that we run the Manga Club from now on. So I thought I'd do this so that I'm all caught up. After reading Shibuya, I didn't know what to expect. I knew that the culling games was coming, but I didn't know what the culling games entailed, especially for the main characters. I know that this was a game sort of pitting curses against curses or curse users against curse users, but I didn't think sort of what this would bring for our characters that we know and love. And to have this whole development of Megami's sister be involved in the culling games and they have to work together to try and get points to add new rules. What a great concept to introduce them back. It was so great to see almost, it's sad because Noboru's not there, but the classic sort of Megami and Yuji going on fights together, going on like missions together. It was like pre-Shibuya without Noboru. These, however, have so many brilliant fights in. Honestly, I didn't know if we'd be able to top after Shibuya, you know. We come off such a peak having Gojo fighting with the cursors and then going straight to Megami against Toji and Sukuna against Gojo, Sukuna against Maharaga. Just all of these fights, I was like, okay, are we going to chill for a bit? No, we are not. What a volume 17 is. This has so many incredible, just mind-blowing moments. From after 16 having the fight of Yuji and Choso against Naoya and Yuta, the fallout from this and finding out that Yuta is actually on... he's on Gojo's side, he's on the boys' side, obviously. What a brilliant realisation. He was just breaking the binding vow. Just so good. Just the absolute mind-boggling, just trying to figure out what is going on. The talk with Tengen and sort of the reveal of just everything from Tengen is so interesting and so vital to the lore that I was just almost like, what? I had to read over it a couple times to really take in all of it, to understand the culling games, to get all the plans that are going off and just everything. It was brilliant to see Tengen. I was wondering a couple volumes ago, like, do we ever actually get to see this guy that we all talk about quite often? Yes we do, and he looks like a thumb. But what a brilliant little just bit of just all the characters being together and figuring everything out, and Choso and Yuki having to stay behind. Oh, obviously though, the biggest part of why this volume is just exceptional is Maki's awakening. Holy shit. I mean, I'd heard and seen panels of Maki's awakening and seeing that she was essentially just Toji V2, but I did not expect the absolute annihilation of the Zenin clan. That was just bonkers. Like, just the speed, and no one even really had a chance against her. Like, just the layers of that and how mad that is. The fact that she just wiped out a clan like that, like a powerful clan as well. Crazy. Volume 18. Now, essentially the bulk of this is Hikari. Meeting Hikari and getting in-depth into his character was absolutely brilliant. What an interesting guy, an interesting concept of a person, and a very interesting concept of a technique. It's like going to the dark side, someone who was expelled and you shouldn't be working with, but you have no choice. Honestly, I loved just getting to know his character and seeing his little quirks and things like that, and I loved every second of it. So then, obviously, at the end, heading into the culling games and seeing the first couple seconds of fighting. I mean, not even obviously in depth because that's in the next volume, but it was very exciting to read. Volume 19 is where the fights start getting good in the Culling games. You have Megami going against a couple people, and also you have the lawyer guy, who I've completely forgot the name of, but I have it here, so I will read. Higuruma. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but what an interesting character and a very interesting domain. It was the first time that a domain expansion has happened, and I've literally been like, oh, okay. So these are more than just hit. The fact that it was like a courtroom and you have to fight your case for stuff that it pulls you up on. It was brilliant to see Yuji being challenged about what had happened in Shibuya. It was brilliant to see that side of his character get sort of brought back into light. But overall, what just an interesting fight, seeing Yuji work his way around it without having to use his fists, and then the fallout of that. Then moving on to Megami's fight, I thought that was very interesting. I honestly thought Megami was going to die or lose the fight a couple times, but then the comedian comes in, sort of saves the day, and just adds this comedic relief that I don't think we've had since pre-Shibuya. So I absolutely loved that. I loved the characters, I loved the fights and everything in this volume. Volume 20, seeing Yuta in action, finally. Obviously we see him in action in Zero, and he has gone miles since then. I mean, he is literally 2v1ing in this against a guy who beams lasers out of his head, and a woman who has what might be the most interesting curse technique I have seen, Sky. She can manipulate the air. That's going to be so interesting to see animated. I'm very excited to see this fight especially. I think the layers, having Rika, having Yuta sort of learn the Sky technique, that was really cool to see. And also actually getting the reveal that Yuta, seeing how he actually copies techniques, I thought that was really cool to learn. But just seeing him in action, so good. Volume 21 holds what is my absolute favourite fight of the Culling games. Hakari is such an interesting character. Getting his technique and domain revealed and explained took quite a while to get my head around, but once you get it, oh my god. I mean, this fight has Hakari and I can't remember their name again. They are table tennising a container at each other. The strength of these two characters is brilliant, and they are so brilliantly matched, and the way that Hakari has to keep spinning to try and get the jackpot, and the explanation of that takes a while to get your head around, but once you do, oh, it's so good. I loved it. Just, I think Hakari has one of my favourite techniques. It's so cool, interesting, and it's that whole thing of like, you need to get it, you need to get him, you need to sort him out before he spins again, and then you can't. He is essentially invincible and can just keep on spinning. He's got reverse curse technique. It's just Hakari, what an absolute legend, and what a brilliant volume this was. Like I say, one of my absolute favourite fights. And there we go, I'm caught up on the physicals. Obviously they were very brief. Next time when a new physical comes out, I will obviously have like read it, have it fresh in my mind, and then do one of these. Whereas these I read a couple weeks ago, and then I've gone on to the Jujutsu Kaisen online. So I don't know, maybe I do it by chapters, and when a couple chapters comes out I do a new one, because then I'll be like up to the current timeline. But then I also think it's cool to do these manga clubs with a physical manga. I don't know, let me know what you think in the comments about what I should do with that. But anyway, I'll see you next time on the Manga Club.